So let's learn the 2-5-1. The first most basic 2-5-1 that you can learn. I'm gonna teach you it's gonna be a 2 minor 7, right? The 2 in C, the key of C is D. We're playing a D minor root position, and we are adding the dominant 7. And you know a dominant 7 is a whole step down. So we're playing a D, a whole step down is C. That's a D minor 7. So we're playing a D minor 7, and that left hand we're just playing octaves, D and A, okay? 2, 5. This is the typical 5 chord. This is the transition chord. This 5 chord is the turnaround. The 5 naturally leads to the 1, okay? We are playing this G7. So we're playing a G, G, B, D. But what we're doing, instead of playing a G root position, we are going to basically play, we're gonna take the G down a whole step, and we are going to take the 3 down a whole step. All right. So we're basically gonna play 2, 5. We're basically playing a F major chord in the right hand with the G. We're playing a G over F. So technically, this is you're sussing the 2 and you're sussing the 4 of the G chord, right? So the 2 of G is A. The 4 of G is D, right? So basically, you are playing a G sus 2 sus 4. It's going to get real confusing if we start trying to think that deep in theory. To simplify it for my beginners, I am going to speak right hand, left hand, because it'll be much easier for you to memorize. You're just basically going to play a G in the bass, and what is a whole step down from G? You're playing an F. So play an F major chord over the G bass. That is going to be your mental shortcut to learn your basic 5 chord. Think of your bass, 2, 5. I'm playing the 5, a whole step down from the 5 is F, so I'll play that major chord. If you're in the key of B, your 5 of B is G flat. A whole step down from G flat is E, so I'm gonna play an E major, right? That is going to be your mental shortcut to learn your 5 chord for every key. Okay? It doesn't matter what key you're going to. This is the basic 5 chord, okay? And so you're playing the D minor 7, your transition chord, which helps you transition to the 1, which is a 4 chord. It's the 5 bass over the 4 chord. Okay? That is your basic 5 chord, and then the 1, you're going to go to 1 first inversion. Right? Go to 1 first inversion. E, G, C, C, and G. Because once you're here, this sets you up for many other movements that you're going to learn. Okay? Being in this inversion. Okay? So your basic 2-5-1 is going to be 2, 2, 5, 1. All right? That's the basic 2-5-1. Also, let's look at the 5-1 quickly. We're going to look at 2, 5, 1. Another 5 you can do is, let's just focus on the 5-1. Another 5-1 that you're going to use a lot is going to be G minor 9, 5, 1. So you have your 2-5-1. Let's work on the 5-1. You hear this a lot in, let's use I Love You Lord today again. I love you, I love you, I love you Lord today. Let me see. Because that's right. I love you, I love you, I love you Lord to 5. Because you care for me. Let me keep going. 3, 3, 6. In such a special way. That's why I praise you. I lift you up. And I 5 magnify your. Right? Magnify your. That's a 5-1. You will use that all over the place. Just wanna praise you forever. 5-1. You will use that all over the place. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for He is good. He is good, for He is worthy. That's part of the cycle of fourths. When you do the 6, 2, 5, 1, this 5, 1 is something you do all the time, okay? So you got your 2, 5, 1. The 5, 1 is 5, G minor 9, F, A, B flat, D, with a G and a D, okay? 5, 1. With that 1, you're playing a 13. C, G, C in the left hand, E, A, B flat, D. Follow along with your chord sheet, okay? Download it from preachandplay.com. The 2-5-1 chord sheet, okay? So we have the 2-5-1. We have the 5-1. This is going to be important once you get to the 5-1-4. That's another lesson. 5-1, okay? Okay, very good. Now, the last 2-5-1 I'm going to show you, it's basically an alternate 5-1, okay? It's basically an alternate 5-1, but you also can do it on the 2-5-1. So let me show you this third 2-5-1, which is, let's just call it, for lack of better terms, a worship 2-5-1, for lack of better terms, okay? So this is going to be a 2-6-9 chord. In any key that you play this worship 2-5-1, we're just going to call it worship 2-5-1. Any key you play it in, think of a 2-6-9 chord. I know that's a lot of numbers, but it'll make sense in a minute. What is the 2 of C? It is D, right? So we're going to play D, F, D, A, D, right? We're going to play that now. On your right hand, we're going to play a 6-9. So the 2 chord is D. So we're going to play, let's just analyze this real quick. So that's the D major chord, right? We're going to play the, let me see. We're going to play the 6 of D, which is B natural. Play the 6 here, and then we're going to play the 9. So 1, 2. The 2 is the 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're going to add the 9, right? So you're going to play the 6, 9. So think about it like this. I know this might be confusing, but play your D. This is your D major chord right here. The D and the F sharp. That's your D major chord, right? Add the 6 and the 9. Right? So that is your 6. So let me just show you the next chord, and then I'll give you the application. This is going to be our worship 2-5-1. 2, 5. 5, you can play a G major chord root position with a G on the left hand, G and D. What I like to do is to play a G sus 4. Suspend the 4. How do you do that? You take your G, B, D, and you basically take your G and add the C. Da. What is a sus 4? A sus4, when you take a G major chord and you play your A with it, that is a G sus2, right? Because you are taking your G major chord, you're taking your 3 out and you're playing the 2. But if you're playing the G major chord and you take your 3 out and you play the 4, that is a sus4. So a suspended chord, you take your 3 out. If you go down, that's a sus2. If you go up to the 4, that is a sus4. So G major, sus2, sus4, right? That's a little nugget, okay? So, lastly, you have the D 6/9 chord, 5, and then you can go to the 1 first inversion. Go to the D first inversion, E, G, C. How that will sound is I praise you, I lift you up, and I magnify your name. 5, that's why my heart is filled with praise. 2, 5. Alright? And so you can play a regular. That's why I praise you. Let me share the application. I lift you up and I magnify your name. That's why my 2 is filled with praise. 2, 5. Right? It allows you to play your 2, 5, 1. But I like playing the worship 2, 5, 1 after the 2, 5, 1. And I just play the 5, 1. 2, 5, 1, 2, 5. I love you. You see, I did that. I love you. I love you, Lord, today. Because you care for me in such 2, 5 way. That was the 2, 5, 1. I praise you, I lift you up, and I magnify your name. I'm wrong. That's why my 2 is 5 with 1, 5, 2, 5. Oh, excuse me, 2, 5. I might have been saying the wrong thing. 2, 5, 2, 5. If you get confused, it's easy just to play that 5 root position, that G in the root position. But I like to play suspended because it leaves you hanging, and it allows you to put some movement in there. That's why I praise you, I lift you up, and I magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise. You can play around with movement all because you didn't end here. You ended here on the sus. Now you can just go down, or you can go up to it. You can play around with that, okay? So those are your 3 approaches to the 2, 5, 1. It's really 4 approaches. Remember your basic 2, 5, 1, right? You also need to learn your 5, 1. Learn that for other songs and other moments. When you do, I've taught you the 6th slide here in the chord progression section. When you get to that 6, go to your, when you get to that 5, you're here, 1, right? That's part of the 6th slide. It's part of the cycle 4th. It's in there, but it starts with the 5, 1, right? And then also I taught you the worship 2, 2, 6, 9, 5 sus4 to the 1. And then also after you go 2, 5, 1 or 2, 5, 1, you can go 5, 1 again. 5, 1. Right? Just praise you. I lift you up and I magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise. Dog it. Or watch this. I'm gonna modulate and do it. It gives you that second 5-1. It gives you something to do if you want to modulate. You can do that 5-1 in the next key. So I praise you, I lift you up, and I magnify your name. That's why my 2 is 5 with 1, 5, 2, 5. See, so that 5-1 sets you up to end. It sets you up to end a phrase, and it sets you up to modulate. Learn your 2-5-1 basic. Learn your 5-1, and learn your 5-1. I'm in C, so learn your 5-1. Learn your 2 chord. Add the 6. Add the 9. Add the 6, 9. So 2, 6, 9, okay? 2, 6, 9 to a 5 sus 4. Okay? And then 1. Okay? God bless you. We'll see you on the next lesson.